The last 2 seasons, Kirk Cousins has been one of the most productive quarterbacks in the league, ranking in the top 4 in total QBR, passing yards, and completion percentage. So although he'll make almost $44 million over those 2 seasons, he has earned that paycheck. Diana Rossini caught up with Cousins at Redskins camp today.
I'm here with Redskins starting quarterback Kirk Cousins. Kirk, obviously coming into training camp, everyone was paying attention to your contract situation. Was it awkward or strange to get back on the field with all these guys, knowing that it didn't turn out to be the way you wanted?
Well, we had good conversations all through the summer, so I was on the same page with the team, and everything was put on the table, and we communicated well. So we were ready to move forward several weeks ago, and we're excited to be back here as a group, and this is what we do for a living. So nowhere else we'd rather be, and I think it turned out just fine. I think everybody's in a good place, and we'll play through this season and go from there.
Kirk, is there any feeling that the Redskins didn't love you enough? Do you have any of that feeling going into this season, and could that affect you?
No, no. They've been great. They've supported me, and I've had a very positive experience here. My wife, my family's had a positive experience here now for going on 6 years. So we're in a good place, and I just want to focus on trying to beat the Eagles week 1. I got enough on my plate there, and hopefully we can have a really good season this year and can lead to greater things. Yes.
Kirk Cousins, the starting quarterback for the Washington Redskins and soon-to-be father.
That's right.
For the first time. Thanks, Kirk.
Yep.
All right, we bring back Matthew Hasselbeck. Cousins lost his top 2 receivers from a really good team last year, Pierre Garçon, Deshaun Jackson, a couple 1,000-yard guys. What do you expect out of Cousins and that Redskins offense this season?
Well, I'm so impressed just listening to that interview and just hearing all the things that he's saying. He really seems like a guy who's like weathered all this distraction type stuff, off the field type stuff, and really like narrowing in on the focus. You hear him already talking about the Philadelphia Eagles. I got my hands full, and he does. That's a good football team also. But, I think for him, the challenge is going to be once again proving himself on another 1-year prove-it deal. And you took away a bunch of weapons. Now, you lost Deshaun Jackson. You lost Pierre Garçon. You did add Terrell Pryor, which is a huge, that he's a huge playmaker type player. But Jordan Reed really is kind of like the thing that makes that offense go. Yep. And he starts out the season not practicing because of a toe injury. So, I think if I was rooting for Kirk Cousins, I would say, man, the pieces around you have to stay healthy for you guys to have another great season.
You heard Diana ask, are you concerned that the Redskins didn't love you enough to give you this long-term deal? Is that a guy who, in your mind, is a top-tier quarterback?
Well, I think, when you're a play caller, you want your quarterback to be someone that could implement your system. And there are probably, I counted them up today, there are probably 8 to 10 teams, play callers, that would love to have Kirk Cousins as their quarterback. It only takes one other team to feel that way for your market value to go up. So at the end of this year, he's going to be a free agent, most likely, or have the opportunity to be. And it'll be a bidding war. And I think there'll be people out there that will view Kirk Cousins as a top-tier quarterback.
Okay. Really interesting season for Kirk Cousins and the Redskins, and who knows if it's only a 1-year thing for him in the nation's capital. We shall see. Matthew Hasselbeck with us today on Coast to Coast. All right, the Panthers opened camp yesterday at Wofford College. Cam Newton coming off shoulder surgery back in March, and he looks fine. Look at him, Carrie. He's dancing.
He looks slim and trim. He's got ready to go.
He's got the headgear on, and he's happy and dancing. And
What's the headgear exactly? You mean that bandana of
that
sorts?
Headband thing? He's got, he was very fashionable there in camp. By the way, he was dancing to Kendrick Lamar's Humble. I don't know if you're familiar with it. He's one of my faves.
The Humble,
yes,
huh?
Humble.
Yeah. So, sit down. You don't know that, David?
What?
Sit down.
Sit down.
Be
Is that
humble.
one of his tracks? Be humble.
Okay.
Okay. We've gone one step too far in the hip-hop questions. It only takes one, really. Anyway, our top 5 is because Cam's got a big personality. The top 5 quarterbacks in the NFL ranked as far as personality. I'm going first. I'm going with a backup. Ryan Fitzpatrick in Tampa Bay. He's got a beard, of course. He went to Harvard, so he gets points for that. He spent the offseason teaching a class on how to solve the Rubik's Cube. I kid you not. So he's got some interesting personality quirks. 4, I went with Brady, married to a supermodel. Listen, this is all for what he does on the field. He's always headbutting guys and slapping guys. He did the snow angel. He's a crazy guy on the field. 3 for me, Aaron Rodgers. Great follow on social media. He also dated Olivia Munn. I think that's over. Does the discount double check. There it is. So I got Rodgers at 3. 2, I don't know if you had this guy, Phillip Rivers, who may be the best trash talker in the NFL. He is always going. Remember Christmas Eve, 07, he got into it with Jay Cutler. He likes bolo ties. He's got like 7 kids. So I got Cam. I got Cam at 1 for the celebrations and the dancing and the outfits, and basically he makes videos, right? He does videos in the off season. So he's got the biggest. He's like a Joe Namath type person. Big, outsized big.
David, I love this top 5 because it was your idea, generated by you, and I think this is great because it also displays that you have such a big personality. I would put you, if you were a quarterback, you'd be number 1.
Okay.
You know that.
Thank you. You're buttering up the wrong guy, okay? The judge is the one you're buttering up.
Eli Manning for me, Eli Manning face. That's really a joke. He really wants you guys to know that he's just having fun and he's paying attention. Number 4 for me is this guy. Take a listen.
You like that? You like that?
You like that, David? You like that, David?
I do like that, actually.
All right, coming in at number 3, I'm right there with you. Tom Brady. But the reason why I like Tom Brady is because when he's with the kids, and by kids I mean the other players on the team, he has a little fun. This is him here with Martellus Bennett showing off how many rings, David? Work with me.
1,
Work
2,
with
3,
me, David.
4, 5, 5.
Yes. And number 2, I'm right there with you, Aaron Rodgers. My favorite is when he told everybody to relax. Do you remember that?
Oh, yeah.
And it was just like RELAX. Just chill out and relax. And he went on to have a really great season. And then number 1 for me is Cam Newton as well. All the same reasons, lots of personality, sit down, be humble. Kendrick Lamar, I'm getting it out. I can't even get it out. I sound like you. But there you go, David. Those are my top 5s. Who's our judge?
It's the
well, this
former
makes sense.
Quarterback with the biggest personality of all time.
Very true. Yes, very true.
Do you listen to Kendrick Lamar?
I don't. But I will tell you this. I feel like there does need to be some explain yourself brought into this conversation here with the two of you guys. Basically, because there's no Jameis Winston on this list. I mean, to me, that's crazy that Winston's on this list. I will have to say, I think I'm siding with Carrie.
What?
Because she understands the subtlety of Eli Manning's personality.
Here, it's noon there. How's it going?
It's good. It's good. I mean, of course, the show hasn't started. It hasn't gone off the rails yet, so who knows? But so far, so good.
It's so far, so good. Although, I will say this. We've been consumed with basketball, but apparently there's some football to talk about.
Oh, yeah. We got 24 NFL teams with the players in camp as of today. The champs are there. Tom Brady, oldest quarterback in the NFL, turns 40 a week from today. So he was out there. So was big number 87, Rob Gronkowski. Of course, had the back surgery last year. Patriots thrilled to have Gronk back. New on SportsCenter. Here's Gronkowski a short time ago.
Just when you're feeling good, when you're out there making plays, I mean, you just want to have fun. It's the whole game of football. Have fun out there, enjoy it, and have competition. Competition's huge. That's what gets you better. That's what makes you better as a player. That's what makes the team better is competition. So I'm trying to go out there, compete with the teammates, make the defense better, and the defense is trying to make the offense better and myself.
All these non-padded practices, you ready to go hit someone?
I mean, I don't mind the first 2 days without pads. I'm not going to lie. I mean, you want to get accumulated out there to football, to the movements and everything. You want to get your body back to it. It's been a while since you've been having competition like that. So the first 2 days without pads is cool, but then after that, you're always ready to roll.
Do you want to take a few hits just to see how your back responds?
Oh, I always want to take hits. When we put those pads on, I'm going to definitely be ready. I'm going to be ready to take hits. I'm going to be ready to play ball.
Gronk's back, Brady's back, the brothers Hasselbeck are back. Matthew and Tim here with us. We're hearing talk of 19-0 for the Patriots, all that kind of stuff. What are your expectations of this team, which seem to get stronger this offseason?
Yeah, my expectations are higher for this team than they were a year ago. I mean, I think a year ago, Tom Brady was going to be suspended for the first 4 games of the season. They go on to win the Super Bowl, and they seem to get better on both sides of the ball and probably in special teams as well. And so to think of how well they were playing at the end of the year, really just tearing through the entire league, I would expect more of that to be the same. I mean, think Brandon Cooks and his speed added to that offense.
I believe they've improved on the defensive side of the ball, and so expectations should be really high. And I don't know if they should go into it saying, hey, 19-0, but I can't say that that's a completely unrealistic expectation if guys were, in fact, to have it.
But everyone else is talking 19-0. They're not talking 19-0.
No.
I mean, even Belichick, when he was asked in his press conference yesterday, he was like, he didn't even give you a response that you could even put in print or on a ticker.
That's right.
But he does that with anything.
I know, but they're so good about it. I mean, even Edelman, he was like, that's just stupid. That's stupid. And so they're all about business. They know how to get there, and the way to get there is not to talk about it. And, like Gronk said, show up and have a party, training camp.
There you go. Tom Brady, as I mentioned, turns 40 next week. 10 years, think about it, 10 years ago, he had that unbelievable season, threw 50 touchdown passes, shattered all the records. Mm-hmm. How does the 2017 Brady compare to the 2007 Brady in your mind?
He's every bit as good. Every bit as good. I don't think.
There's no difference. You're not seeing anything.
I think the difference is that he's not that explosive, chucking it down the field to Randy.
But he
that
hasn't
could change
necessarily
this year.
had the
That could
speed.
change
I mean,
this
now
year.
Brandon Cooks and his speed, I think that we'll see more of it. When you watch the ball come out of his hand, I don't think that it's coming out of his hand with any less velocity than it did 10 years ago.
He looks better physically now than he did then. But the thing is, then he was explosive. He was throwing the ball downfield. It was like instant offense, touchdown after touchdown, 50 touchdown passes.
All-time great at running down the field.
Right. Him and Randy Moss had that. But here's the thing. Last year, and what I expect you to see more of this year, is sort of that death by 1,000 paper cuts, as Trent Dilfer used to say. It was just like dink, 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 like dunk. Yeah. And then all of a sudden you look up and you're down 21 points against the Patriots. And that was kind of the formula that they beat everybody by last year. Except in the Super Bowl, he was forced to do it again, as a thrower, pushing the ball downfield, and he was able to come back against man coverage and basically put the team on his back and come back and win that game.
I just don't think physical skills from him have started to diminish.
Yeah.
Never been a very good runner, still not. But he's always been a tremendous passer, and he still is. And so I think that's really why he's the same quarterback as he was 10 years ago.
But I think, ironically, he ran the ball better last year than I've ever seen him run the ball. I mean, he was...
Are we going to break down Brady's running now?
I mean, you talk about all these things he's doing with nutrition, about recovery. He's got recovery pajamas. I mean, the guy looks physically fit. This is the same guy. You throw up his combine photo. It was not impressive. Now you look at him, he's about to turn 40 years old. It's impressive. Like, whatever he's doing is definitely working.
I mean, of all the great superlatives you can throw at Tom Brady, the fact that he doesn't seem to have slipped a gear at all at really an advanced age for a quarterback. As you know, you played in the league at the age of 40. Tom Brady is doing some unbelievable things. Check this out. Guys who are 40 years or older, and the amount of touchdown passes they've thrown. Matt, I don't think you showed up on this here. No, you're not there.
Yeah. He's
far right there.
Oh, there you are. There you are. You're tucked in there, a 40-year-old. And so we went through this with you a little earlier today.
By Vinny.
Let's zero in on Hasselbeck there. Great shot of him.
There, right there. You see that?
What were the numbers, though? Did we see the actual touchdown numbers themselves?
How many did you throw?
You're close.
Do you remember?
I don't know. I'm never really
You're not really sure?
No. So we gave Matthew a questionnaire. We know what Tom Brady's whole regimen is and all that kind of stuff, so we asked you some of the same questions. Tom Brady's bedtime is 8:30 these days. What was your bedtime?
Yeah, hey, listen, that sounds about right. You're 40 years old. That means your kids are not that young. You're reading story time, okay?
Yes.
And for me, I was falling asleep in bed reading stories. 8 o'clock, 8:30.
Okay.
That was about right for me as a starting quarterback.
All right, you beat Brady there. All right. As you mentioned, Brady sleeps in something called athlete recovery sleepwear. I don't know what that is. What were your pajamas like in the age of 40?
I get that. I actually believe in that. I've never done what he's doing there, but I was a compression sock or like Normatec boot wearing person, like finding ways to recover.
What is that, a Normatec boot?
It's like basically elevation and compression. For your, there you go. There's some Normatec boots.
Oh, yeah, look at you.
Ironically, they're in every NFL locker room nowadays. But back then, it was like one of the things that I would try to do to get an advantage. You start getting older, you can't just do the things that you always did. And, so that was
You slept in that. You slept in those things.
Yeah, for like an hour. And then, at some point, they kind of find their way off.
Brady's favorite ice cream, avocado.
He's
got you there. We just had lunch together. He's definitely got you there.
I was, I had bought my offensive lineman one year, Grater's ice cream from Cincinnati, Ohio. Black raspberry chip was my favorite flavor, and that was probably my nemesis. It probably wasn't willing to go certain places.
Shows in the beach in the summertime.
Okay. Brady, a vegan, he'll mix in a little chicken during the season, and you're a carnivore?
I'm not a vegan. I know that.
Not a vegan. Okay.
Not even a vegetarian.
Not a vegetarian. So that means you're a carnivore. All right.
Yeah, I mean, if I'm at Fenway, I'm definitely going for like at least 2, sausages with like everything on it.
Okay.
Secret sauce, whatever.
All right. Now we're starting to understand why you're sitting here with us.
Yeah, there you go.
Relaxation technique, Brady. Meditation.
Yeah, I saw that. One of my favorite things when I played for the Seahawks, the facilities right there next to Lake Washington, my offensive lineman and I would go out occasionally on a boat, and we just put like a life jacket on upside down and like sit in it. And
like a diaper, basically.
Like a diaper. I wore a diaper in Lake Washington. Yes. And we just sit there and float. And honestly, it was like one of the best things that we ever did.
That sounds nice,
in Seattle, like in between practices, whether it was Lake Coeur d'Alene, Lake Washington. Highly recommend it.
Oh, what do you think? He might have Brady beat in that category. That sounds pretty dang good.
I mean, Lake Washington does sound good. I mean, you don't know. I mean, Brady could do it in the Charles River. Like, you don't know.
He could dirty water.
The Boston Harbor.
That's some dirtier water.
All right, there we go. We got a whole feeling for what it's like to be a 40-year-old quarterback.
Hey,
you haven't even turned 40 yet.
I'm not 40 yet. I look 40, but I'm not 40. So that's good.
The Hasselbeck brothers joining us. It's football season.
What's your routine, by the way?
Birthday, Tom.
I mean, I've seen you in the gym,
There's
David
no
Lloyd.
avocado ice cream, that's for sure. Carrie?
No, David, no. I want to go back to you. I'm more involved in pajamas and bedtime. Adam, help me out. What are your pajamas like, and what's your bedtime? Let's just continue this line of discussion.
My bedtime is very early. I fall asleep right in bed. I wake back up. I sleep in about 2-3 hour intervals. That's how I like to do it.
Okay, you know what? That is very true.
That's what I try to do. And I've got these pajama tops with the Hasselbeck headshots of both those guys all over them.
You do. He sleeps in a suit.
With his phone in his hand like this. This is how he sleeps.
Good night,
Adam. That's accurate. Where's your wife? Can we call her? Because that's probably accurate. No?
It is actually been captured on video or in pictures. That way, yes, I have fallen asleep like that sometimes, yes.
Well, you got to get the news. All right, so let's get to the news because you do have it. You're our insider, Adam Schefter. Yesterday, you reported that Flacco expected to miss the first week of practice. And from my understanding, the Ravens need to have a contingency plan. What would that be?
Well, a short time ago, John Harbaugh told reporters that he wouldn't close the door, wouldn't rule out, those were his exact words, rule out signing Colin Kaepernick. Now, again, there's a process that they have to go through here before they make any decisions, but clearly Colin Kaepernick looks like he's going to be in the conversation there, and we'll see what direction the Baltimore Ravens decide to go in. But Colin Kaepernick is a guy that has connections to that organization. He played for Greg Roman in San Francisco. Greg Roman is now on the Baltimore Ravens coaching staff. John Harbaugh, obviously brothers with Jim Harbaugh, who's a fan of Colin Kaepernick. Joe Flacco is going to miss the first week of camp. Ryan Mallett steps in as the starter for right now. Dustin Vaughn is the only other quarterback on the roster. As it were, if there were no injury to Joe Flacco, they might need another arm. Flacco's injury for the week makes it even more so. So it looks like at least they'll discuss options, and it looks like Colin Kaepernick will be one of them.
I heard you say that we should stay aware of this or be on this story for the next, 24 to 48 hours. However, here's my question. I don't understand. Are deep connections enough to get Kaepernick on the team?
Listen, he probably is the best quarterback out there right now. There are people who say he's better than some of the quarterbacks on rosters. So this is about Baltimore, which has had a tough start of camp, making a move that it feels would make it better. And if it believes that Colin Kaepernick would add something to the roster, then you go ahead and you make that move right now. And yes, again, I think they're going to sift through their options, see what's out there. And I think that when they look at it and assess the quarterback field, they will come to the conclusion that Colin Kaepernick is the best quarterback out there. And if they want to get some help, that's the direction that they'll wind up going in.
Yeah, some would say he's been the best quarterback out there, but we'll leave it there and wait for that news to happen. In other news from the Ravens, 26-year-old John Urschel pursuing a doctorate at MIT, a bit of a genius, also like yourself. He announced his retirement. What more can you tell us about this?
There's a situation where he has some concerns about CTE, like a lot of players. We've seen the study that came out this week. We've seen all the discussion, and we've seen more and more players under the age of 30 leaving the game prematurely before they get the chance to play out their full career. Again, there have always been players that have left the game retired, but it just seems like there's been a prevalence of young players doing that. John Urschel turned 26 years old last month. He's getting a PhD from MIT, brilliant, one of the smartest people in our country, and clearly he is deciding to use his brain for other things than banging it against defensive linemen. It's a decision that came this morning. He informed the Baltimore Ravens, and I think this is a decision that has to send out an alarm signal to the NFL and make it concerned that it has another young man, a very intelligent young man, making this decision at this young stage of his NFL career.
Wait, Adam, let me make sure I'm understanding this. You're saying it's linked to the recent study that came out earlier this week, so within days, maybe a week or so, he's decided to retire based on that study?
No. I'm saying all the discussion about CTE, that study being a part of it, Carrie. I think there has been so much discussion about this, the effect that the sport has on the brain, and I think that contributed to the decision he made today.
All right, another camp question. Let's talk about Le'Veon Bell. Hasn't signed his franchise tag. What are you hearing about that situation
The Steelers report to camp today. I think it would be a surprise if Le'Veon Bell showed up there today, this week, or really anytime soon. Look, he's not contractually obligated to be there. He has not signed his franchise tender. He does not get fined if he doesn't show up at training camp. Le'Veon Bell's goal has to be to get ready for the upcoming season to give him the best chance to succeed. To do that, he would have to come in mid to late August, and there's no reason for him to be there at any point any sooner when his salary is set for the coming season at $12.1 million. He's playing on a one-year deal. This is about self-preservation. This is about improvement. This is about getting ready for the 2017 season, and that's why I think it would be a surprise if we saw Le'Veon Bell anytime before the middle of August.
All right, Adam Schefter, thank you for that report. I appreciate it. We couldn't get to some other fun stuff, but maybe we'll have you back on.
I'm going to go change to my Hasselbeck pajamas right now.
Oh, as you should. Thank you. Adam Schefter reporting for us here on Coast to Coast.